A die-hard reader wakes up in the body of Eloise, Ian Cloud's infamous ex-wife, stuck in a loveless marriage with the coldest man in the realm, while everyone calls her a ghost and rumors threaten to ruin her life. Determined to rewrite the fate of the forgotten heroine, Diana, she launches a daring plan to rehabilitate Ian, who's worshipped by society but utterly broken inside, while secretly plotting her own escape. High society mocks her every move, yet she manipulates magical newsletters and dresses to turn enemies into allies, all under Ian's icy gaze. But as her bold transformation shocks nobles and even Ian himself begins to unravel, one question lingers. Can she outsmart the story's cruel destiny before the real Diana returns? A shadowy figure emerges against a mystical backdrop, Tan Cloud, a character who's about to shake up everything. Diana's heart shatters as her carefully wrapped birthday gift is coldly returned, her confession ignored, while the man she loves turns away. Alone in the garden, Diana sits surrounded by falling petals, her pain and loneliness consuming her as rejection cuts deep. Diana races toward the academy, her wedding feeling more like an escape than a celebration. Ian Cloud stands stern and distant, his very presence pushing Diana away. Childhood trauma has carved Ian into a shell of a person, instinctively building walls that keep everyone at a painful distance. A modern reader discovers Diana's story, watching a tender moment between her and a crying Ian unfold on her phone screen. Is the author crazy? She shouts, stunned by Ian's seemingly easy forgiveness and the story's unexpected turn. Anger bubbling, the reader feels compelled to speak out against the narrative's injustice. Frustration overwhelms her. Ha! I'm so mad! She acknowledges the author's talent but believes it's been wasted, focusing entirely on Ian's redemption while neglecting Diana's story. Diana, the forgotten heroine, smiles gently, unaware of how little attention she'll receive. Online comments flood in, calling Diana a soft rice cake while inexplicably praising Ian. Deep breath. Calm down, inner peace, she mutters, trying to control her rising frustration. In a moment of pure frustration, she wishes for a reincarnation truck, and then everything goes black. Her fantasy of revenge against Ian suddenly becomes terrifyingly real as she's transported into the novel. She awakens, head spinning, in an unfamiliar place. Surrounded by luxurious pillows, she sits up, her hair a messy tangle of confusion. Silence echoes through the grand room, matching her stunned disbelief. She jolts upright, suddenly alert. Ouch! That hurts! She yelps, clutching her throbbing head. Her reflection stares back, a stranger's face, a new reality. The reincarnation truck wasn't just a fantasy. It was real. Wait, I shouldn't just be sitting here, she thinks, lying on the floor. The last novel she read must be her new reality. A magical circle confirms her impossible situation. Nervously, she checks her reflection, praying she's not Diana. Bracing herself for the truth, she takes a deep breath. Phew! Thank goodness, it's not Diana. She sighs with relief. A confused look crosses her face as she tries to remember the story details. Ian Cloud had accepted the Emperor's proposal to marry Eloise Alpheus, the second daughter of the Marquis. Suddenly, the realization hits her like a truck. Did I actually marry that guy? I'm doomed, she thinks. Sprawled on the floor in despair, tears stream down her face as she realizes her situation is worse than being an extra in the story. Why did I have to reincarnate as Ian Cloud's ex-wife? She pauses, fist clenched, then stops. No, wait. Maybe she's not married yet? There might still be a chance to change things. Determined, she rushes out. This is crazy, she thinks, hope flickering. But then she grins. I did it. Reality crashes down. I got married. I really did. She bangs her fist against the wall, cursing her fate. A nervous servant peeks in. My lady? She says softly. She composes herself, leaving the room with restrained panic. Wandering the hallway, she wonders, what is it? A maid approaches, reminding her it's almost time for breakfast. She nods, knowing breakfast was always a routine in the original story. Ugh, she sighs, exhausted. No stamina, no motivation. Remembering the original novel's sickly wife, she considers staying in bed. But she forces herself up. No matter how exhausting, I have to do my best. The chapter pauses, a moment of silence before the story continues. She takes a deep breath, thinking, no matter how gorgeous he looks, I'm going to give him a piece of my mind. As she enters the grand dining room, Ian Cloud's appearance stops her in her tracks. He's almost too perfect to be real. Is this even real? This can't be a real person, she thinks, now understanding why Ian Cloud was such a big deal in the novel. Ian's piercing gaze falls on her and he asks curtly, what is it? Snapping out of her daze, she catches Ian's stern command. Are you going to just stand there? She laughs nervously, remembering his infamous nicknames, the Tyrant Prince and the Devil Prince. Ian suggests she can leave if she doesn't want breakfast, but she quickly replies, no, I'll eat. Sitting at the table, she thinks. His voice is just as irritating as his looks. Ian teases her, saying, staring at me like that won't hurt me. If you're going to look that way, at least make it count. They eat in awkward silence, tension thick between them. She wonders how they managed to have breakfast together so casually, joking to herself that they must have iron stomachs. Ian's unusual early morning formal attire catches her eye, making her suspicious something important might be happening. Ian rarely dresses up like this unless it's something significant. Is he going somewhere important? Ian calls her wife again, but she's too distracted trying to figure out his strange behavior. What a jerk, she thinks, as Ian tells her to get to the point. She asks if he's going somewhere. Ian explains he's attending the monthly meeting at the Imperial Palace, revealing his status as a Grand Duke with royal blood. Surprisingly, Ian shares a warm relationship with the Emperor, his half-brother. Unlike typical royal rivalries, their bond seems genuine and affectionate. Ian became the youngest sword master at 18, earning the Emperor's praise and the title of Special Advisor to the Imperial Knights. It seems the author wanted to shower Ian with every possible honor and achievement. As Ian prepares to leave, she jokes sarcastically. Ian responds he's running late and exits. She asks if he knew he'd be late. Ian's response is cryptic. Yes, of course you are. She can't tell if he's being sincere or mocking. She struggles through breakfast, thinking, if he weren't a swordmaster, I'd have punched him. Eloise Alpheus, the second daughter of the Marquis, was known as a, quote, villain in social circles. Her marriage to Ian was purely a business transaction. Eloise sees herself as a strategic pawn, declaring, if marrying him helps expand the family business, where else would I find such a lucrative deal? The Marquis and Eloise are a perfect match, both using each other for personal gain. It's year 273, exactly 2 years and 2 months since Ian and Eloise's marriage. Diana is supposed to return in the summer of next year, leaving about a year until her arrival. She wishes she'd been reincarnated after the marriage ended, not right in the middle of it. I never wanted to get involved with Diana like this, she cries, her emotions overwhelming her. She realizes she must end this situation within a year. In the original story, Ian demands a divorce from Eloise half a year after Diana's return. The problem is that Diana suffers tremendously during this half year, and Eloise is supposed to be the cause. She considers giving up, wondering if she should just disappear. But then she realizes this could be her chance to change everything before Diana returns. With exactly 1 year until Diana's return, she decides to use her position as Grand Duchess to gradually improve Ian's behavior. I might not turn him into a luxury car, she thinks, but I can definitely get him out of the junk category. She lets out a maniacal laugh of determination. Her mission: rehabilitate Ian and make him compatible with Diana before she returns. She knows Ian as well as Diana, having read the novel countless times. Wait for me, Diana, she calls out confidently. She vows to prove that even the most hopeless case can be fixed and put to good use. A servant nervously enters, interrupting her thoughts. My lady, you called for me. She asks the servant, what was your name again? It's Bibi, the servant replies. Realizing she's been so indifferent that she doesn't know her servant's name after 2 years, she decides to gather some gossip about her and Ian. Bibi looks shocked. What? Did I say something wrong? She reassures Bibi that she just wants to hear the rumors, promising not to punish her. Bibi trembles, terrified but beginning to share the gossip. Really? Bibi asks nervously. She responds by subtly hinting that staying silent might disappoint her. Trembling, Bibi reveals the harsh rumors. People are calling her the, quote, of the Grand Duchy of Clouds, and nothing more than a shell of the household. Calm and collected, she processes the rumors with surprising composure, thinking, so that's what they're saying. Unlike a typical noblewoman who might faint, she simply thanks Bibi for her honesty and dismisses her, showing remarkable emotional control. Bibi breaks down in tears, apologizing for her, quote, grave sin, but the protagonist reassures her, no you haven't, I asked you to tell me, didn't I? You may leave now. Bibi bows deeply, grateful for the protagonist's mercy, and exits the room with profound respect. Alone in the room, she reflects on the nickname, Ghost of the Grand Duchy of Clouds, letting the words sink in. With a spark of determination, she declares, Ian Cloud, you're as good as dead now. She confesses her past as a hardcore keyboard warrior, always battling in niche online fandoms. Her life was a constant struggle in online debates, always outnumbered but never backing down from her passionate arguments. After a decade of online battles, her mental resilience became her greatest strength, tougher than most could imagine. She realizes her mental toughness pales in comparison to Ian Cloud's stubborn nature, which has survived decades of childhood trauma. Worried about potential rumors that could harm Diana, she knows she must take action to prevent any false accusations. With unwavering resolve, she declares, I can't let that happen. Her determination to protect Diana and rehabilitate Ian burns brighter than ever. She slams her hand on the desk, vowing to teach Ian a lesson for Diana's sake. Laughing confidently, she promises Diana, just wait. I'll make sure to teach this guy a proper lesson. Ian sits in his office and calls out, come in. Surprised by her entrance, Ian asks, why did you come here? She enters with a cheerful smile, ready to confront him head-on. Internally, she worries about Ian's unhealthy lifestyle, thinking he acts like Napoleon, surviving on less than 4 hours of sleep daily. She tells Ian she has something to discuss. Ian reminds her of their agreement not to interrupt each other outside of breakfast unless it's urgent. She insists it's special and shares the rumors about her. Ian's dismissive response of "so what" frustrates her. She confronts Ian about the rumors, asking if he cares. Ian challenges her, questioning why he should be concerned about her reputation. She points out that the rumors affect him as the Grand Duke, smirking confidently. Caught off guard, Ian is left speechless by her bold challenge. She presses Ian about the rumors, maintaining her composure while internally frustrated. Ian remains indifferent, asking her to get to the point. She declares that she can't continue living like this, despite the marriage's initial benefits. Ian senses she has a solution in mind. She warns him not to start with any cliché romantic lines about wanting her heart. Shocked when Ian suggests, "Me?" she tells him not to joke about such things. Ian asks for clarification, looking confused. She challenges Ian with a question about whether people can truly change. Ian looks confused, as she declares she doesn't believe people can't change. She asks Ian directly, "What do you think?" and then boldly declares her intention to change him. Leaning in close, she repeats her declaration of changing Ian, leaving him stunned and uncertain. An awkward silence falls between them, both confused by the unexpected conversation. Ian, completely baffled, asks for clarification. "Change me, you say?" She explains that her knowledge comes from reading the novel, giving her insight into what will happen. Her motivation is pure. She wants to help Ian live with dignity and prevent Diana's future suffering. She's not acting out of spite, but genuine concern. Ian reads the papers detailing rumors that call him hollow, a ghost, and merely a piece of furniture in the Grand Duchy. For the first time, Ian openly admits he can no longer tolerate the rumors, despite previously enduring them out of respect for the Emperor and his father. She points out that the problem isn't just hers, challenging Ian to acknowledge the broader issue. Despite Ian's royal blood and the Emperor's favor, the story highlights the complex challenges they face in their marriage. She reflects that as a human, she can't escape the rumors circulating about her. Ian comments on how even behind closed doors, the rumors of the capital are inescapable. She sets a clear timeline, promising to take responsibility if her reputation doesn't improve within a year. Ian asks for clarification about what she means by, quote, "sorting things out." Ian calmly suggests living quietly or getting a divorce, presenting it as a potentially convenient solution for both of them. Surprised by the divorce suggestion, she learns Ian believes she only needs someone to fill the Grand Duchess position. Ian explains that as the Grand Duke, he'll have plenty of wife options if they decide to part ways. She resolves to proceed with the divorce within a year, ensuring Diana will become the new Grand Duchess while maintaining her own dignity. Ian sits silently as she lays out her plan. She knows it might seem like a declaration of war, but Ian has nothing to lose from her offer. She boldly asks about his post-divorce strategy. Her two requests are simple: act like a real couple in public, and spend time together until they part ways. Ian skeptically asks, "Spend time with you?" She explains that people don't change on their own. They need focused education. Her goal? Completely reform his mindset before Diana arrives. She calmly suggests treating their time together like a, quote, class, a chance to transform Ian's behavior. Ian asks in disbelief, "Are you serious?" She firmly confirms her absolute seriousness. She challenges Ian, demanding to know if she looks like someone who would waste time joking around. Ian remains silent, taken aback by her intensity. Ian agrees to her plan. Exactly 1 year to change or return to the current situation. She agrees, secretly thinking, "No, I'm definitely divorcing you." She proposes scheduling their, quote, lessons for weekends and nights, treating their interaction like a structured program. She sets clear ground rules, asking Ian to notify her of any conflicting plans. Ian curiously asks if she plans to tackle the rumors one by one. She confidently replies that addressing rumors is just a matter of time. Ian agrees to meet on the weekend. She leaves, impressed by her own negotiation skills. The next day, Bibi arrives to prepare her departure. Surprised by the sudden timing, the protagonist gets ready while Bibi efficiently handles the arrangements. Bibi confirms her immediate departure with unwavering determination. Bibi cheerfully promises to prepare everything right away, her enthusiasm infectious. Sitting at the long dining table with Ian, she realizes there's no point in forcing a morning meal together when they barely tolerate each other's presence. A group of maids enters, eager to help her prepare. They offer to dress her in the most splendid outfit possible. The maids fuss over her hairstyle and outfit, complimenting her height and style with genuine enthusiasm. She realizes the maids are far more excited about her outing than she is, their enthusiasm almost comical. The butler, Harold, enters, announcing himself politely. Harold responds to her call, ready to receive her instructions for the day. She confidently tells Harold she's going to the market and requests 2 blank checks. Be prepared. Harold looks nervous, but agrees. She reassures him she's planning for the future, not overspending. Her real goal? Avoiding meals with Ian at all costs. She sits alone at the grand table, her plan clear. Let Ian eat by himself and see how he likes it. Determined to assert her independence, she prepares for her day, the story pausing for a moment of reflection. A servant informs Ian that his wife won't be having breakfast today. Ian calmly dismisses the servant, maintaining his composure. He thinks to himself that the Grand Duchess is unpredictable. puzzled by her sudden behavioral shifts. Eating thoughtfully, Ian wonders about her sudden appearance yesterday, and now her breakfast absence. She recalls her bold statement about potentially offering a divorce, her confidence shining through. Ian's frustration grows, his grip tightening on his fork as he processes her unexpected behavior. Annoyed and confused, Ian mutters to himself that her actions are becoming increasingly irritating. On a bright, sunny day, BB comments on the weather. The protagonist confirms her plan to visit the seamstress, praising BB for preparing the necessary documents. BB notes this is the first time she's seen her mistress visit a seamstress. With a sly smile, she thinks about her true motivation for visiting the shopping district. Her ultimate goal, ensuring Diana's smooth journey in this world. Laughing nervously, she's determined to do more than just sit in the mansion all day. BB calls out to her, and she responds with determination, ready to move forward. Thanking Eloise for her help, she understands that knowing the capital's dynamics is crucial to her strategy. She reflects on how clothing stores are the epicenter of rumors in this era, a social battlefield without weapons. BB nervously asks about the seamstress, but the protagonist remains calm and focused on her true objective. Walking through the city, BB expresses concern about the lack of seamstresses in this alley. The protagonist acknowledges the deviation from her original plan and prepares to enter her chosen store. BB nervously questions her mistress's intentions, worried about the unusual destination. BB suggests visiting a more reputable dress shop, hoping to dissuade her mistress. The protagonist sharply cuts her off, making it clear she doesn't need BB's opinion. BB apologizes, and they enter the shop, where the surprised shopkeeper greets them with obvious respect. The protagonist suspects the clothing store might be struggling, but it's currently her only option. She realizes this is no ordinary clothing store as she grips the door handle. The door opens, revealing her readiness to do business. She enters confidently, greeted by the shopkeeper who recognizes her ducal status. The shopkeeper bows deeply, greeting her with utmost respect. With calm confidence, the protagonist declares her purpose. I came to see your dresses. Caught off guard, the shopkeeper quickly springs into action, instructing her staff to display all available dresses. A satisfied smile crosses the protagonist's face as she surveys the clothing selection. The shopkeeper apologetically presents their entire dress collection, explaining their limited inventory due to budget constraints. Examining the dresses, the protagonist is impressed by their innovative designs, sensing they're ahead of their time. She reflects on the future. In half a year, this store will become a huge success, and a year later, it will be crucial in helping Diana when she returns to the academy. Visualizing elegant pink shoes adorned with delicate flowers, she knows Madame Z will become Diana's most important business partner. Remembering Diana's original struggles to win Z over, she realizes her current actions will significantly ease Diana's future path. This is also a perfect opportunity to gather information. With a sly smile, she prepares to make her move. The shopkeeper offers to create a new dress if the current selection doesn't meet her expectations. Surprising everyone, she firmly declares, I'll buy all the clothes in the store, including the accessories. BB looks shocked, asking for confirmation, to which the protagonist calmly responds, yes. The stunned shopkeeper asks if there's a specific reason behind such a comprehensive purchase. With cool confidence, she responds, does a noble woman need a reason to choose a dress? She explains she wants the clothes altered to fit her body, subtly avoiding the original Zed's fatal mistake of refusing design modifications. She deduces that Madame Zed's willingness to sell everything indicates the store is struggling financially. Instructing BB to prepare the case, she smiles subtly, ready to seal the deal. She hands over a blank check, instructing the shopkeeper to list all items and charge them to the Grand Duke's estate. Declaring her sponsorship under the Duchess's name, she's determined to secure Zed's loyalty and support for Diana's future. She reiterates her instructions with confidence, smiling at the thought of helping Diana's journey. She requests the revised clothes be sent to the Duke's residence within a week, which Madame Zed readily agrees to. Explaining her intention to shop at the store continuously, she aims to establish a long-term relationship with Zed. Madame Zed promises to do her absolute best for the new client. While taking measurements, Madame Zed compliments her long arms and elegant shoulders, suggesting an off-shoulder dress would look stunning. Madame Zed enthusiastically calls her a, quote, spinal beauty, leaving the protagonist utterly confused by the term. The protagonist internally wishes Madame Zed would be more moderate, finding her endless chatter exhausting. Madame Zed confidently promises to deliver a perfectly fitted dress, her eyes sparkling with determination. Satisfied, the protagonist leaves, knowing she's won Zed over and set the stage for Diana's future connection to the store. Wishing Diana a metaphorical flowery path, she asks BB to take a walk before returning home. Tired but content, she yawns, reflecting on her busy day and the numerous books she's purchased. Returning home, she decides to go to bed early, knowing BB will handle the cleanup. She unexpectedly encounters Ian in the mansion, catching him off guard with her late return. They exchange awkward glances on the stairs, neither knowing how to break the uncomfortable silence. Standing silently in the hallway, they remain at an impasse, unsure how to interact. Ian breaks the silence, asking if she's just arrived. She confirms her late outing, to which Ian notes the late hour, Realizing it's past midnight, she acknowledges her exhaustion. Ian comments on her busy day, noting her absence from breakfast and late return. She mentally reflects that she should have skipped breakfast with Ian entirely. A heated exchange follows, with Ian criticizing her absence, and she firmly pushes back, arguing that he's the one who set the breakfast time. She challenges him, stating she'll match the effort he puts into their relationship. She boldly refuses to attend breakfast, pointing out that the Duke has been neglecting her. She argues that she's been faithfully fulfilling her Duchess duties while receiving nothing in return. Concluding that she is the only one losing in this arrangement, she declares she can become an angel or a devil depending on Ian's attitude. She emphasizes her philosophy of give and take, challenging Ian's cold approach. Laughing lightly, she simplifies her stance. Relationships are about mutual effort. Ian remains silent, unable to counter her argument. He eventually tells her to go inside, while she internally hopes he might metaphorically break his nose for his annoying attitude. She leaves him outside under the moonlight, resolute in her plan. Waking up and yawning, she realizes the books she's reading offer no helpful insights. She wishes Ian could be more supportive, reminding herself of her mission to transform him before Diana's return. Her determination to make Ian a better man for Diana remains unwavering. Deciding to explore the mansion at night, she fulfills a long-held desire to wander the gardens. Gazing at the beautiful nighttime garden, she resolves to enjoy the mansion fully before eventually passing it on to Diana. Captivated by the garden's beauty, she admires the delicate white roses surrounding her. The nighttime view reveals the Duke's residence in all its splendor, with meticulously maintained gardens sparkling under the starry sky. A sudden sneeze breaks the night silence, reminding her that the evening air is chillier than she expected. Rubbing her tired eyes, she realizes it's time to head back inside before the cold gets to her. Behind the balcony window, she firmly decides, I should head back now. Ian stands motionless by the window, lost in deep contemplation, silently watching the night unfold. Anxiety creeps into Ian's thoughts as he stands alone, a single worried question echoing in his mind. Don't tell me that you were crying. A moment of pause settles over the scene, like a quiet intermission in an unfolding drama. Ian returns to his office, announcing his arrival with a simple, I'm back. Kyle, buried behind a mountain of papers, greets Ian with frustration. Ian explains he just used a long-distance magic circle, defending his slightly late arrival. Kyle dumps a massive workload on Ian, insisting all documents must be handled before sleep. Ian begins writing, while Kyle playfully teases him about the overwhelming workload. His quill pauses mid-stroke as Ian calls out to Kyle, his calm eyes betraying a hint of weariness. Kyle jokes about his exhausting work, asking if Ian will take responsibility if he dies early. Ian admits Kyle is always too harsh, questioning what kind of boss works their lieutenant so late. Ian suddenly brings up the Grand Duchess, catching Kyle off guard. Kyle wonders if Ian is feeling unwell, surprised by the unexpected mention. Their marriage stands as a cold arrangement of mutual disinterest, two people existing side by side yet worlds apart. Ian reflects on his wife's recent unusual behavior, skipping breakfast and now talking about divorce. Her sudden change catches him completely by surprise, disrupting their usual pattern of distant coexistence. Kyle confirms the Grand Duchess's unexpected statements, leaving Ian to process this shocking information. Kyle confronts Ian about his treatment of the Grand Duchess, questioning their lack of communication and emotional connection. Ian remains detached, responding coldly to Kyle's concerns. Ian maintains a stoic silence, refusing to engage with Kyle's emotional accusations. Kyle challenges Ian, pointing out that Ian himself insisted on unnecessary encounters. He questions whether Ian even knows his wife's birthday. Surprisingly, Ian recalls the exact date, September 23rd, surprising Kyle with his unexpected memory. Ian dismisses their marriage as merely a family bond, insisting there's no need to pay attention to trivial personal matters. When Ian casually mentions divorce, Kyle is shocked, questioning his sudden consideration of such a drastic step. Ian tells Kyle to stop making a fuss, maintaining his calm demeanor. Ian explains it's just a hypothetical thought. Kyle probes deeper, asking if Ian feels anything about the Grand Duchess crying. He then shares gossip about her recent shopping spree, buying all dresses and accessories, and asks if Ian feels any sense of crisis. Kyle brings up the romance novels the Grand Duchess purchased, adding another layer of intrigue to her recent behavior. Ian suggests she might be experiencing a change of heart or potentially involved with another man, revealing his growing suspicion. Kyle threatens to quit if Ian proceeds with a divorce, showing his loyalty and concern for the Grand Duchess. Ian reminds Kyle about his unpaid salary, instantly making Kyle backtrack and pledge eternal loyalty. Annoyed by the noise, Ian dismisses Kyle from his office. Ian reflects on his long-endured marriage, feeling he can no longer tolerate the current situation. Ian sits in silent frustration, muttering to himself, "How annoying." The protagonist wakes up refreshed, stretching contentedly after a dreamless night. Confident that Ian should be gone, she decides to take her time getting ready. Checking the clock, she realizes she'll be late for breakfast no matter when she starts preparing. A maid offers to help her get ready, and she happily thinks she can finally enjoy a peaceful meal without Ian's presence. Stepping outside, surrounded by flowers, she enjoys the morning and ponders where she might spend her day. To her surprise and annoyance, she discovers Ian is still at home. calmly reading documents. A brief pause in the story, marked by a cheerful character introduction, a page dedicated to website support, with no story progression. Ian continues reading documents as time slowly passes. She wonders why Ian is taking so long to finish his coffee and leave. Confused by his lingering presence, she tries to understand Ian's unusual behavior. They sit together reading newspapers, her frustration growing with each passing moment. She contemplates stabbing him with a fork and finally asks why he's still there. Ian casually states he's having a meal, as if his prolonged presence is completely normal. Realizing an apology is too much to expect, she resigns herself to his unchanging nature. Suddenly, Ian brings up the training she mentioned, catching her off guard. She wonders what excuse he'll use to avoid the meeting, anticipating his typical avoidance tactics. Ian firmly insists that the monthly Imperial Palace meeting cannot be cancelled under any circumstances. Surprising her, Ian suggests they spend the full weekend together, just as she originally proposed. Shocked, she asks if he means both days of the weekend. She wonders why he's suddenly acting like she had the upper hand. Something seems off. Did he hit his head? His sudden change in behavior is completely unexpected. Ian tells her she can decline if she wants. She responds that it's not about that, clearly confused by his approach. Ian declares he'll proceed with their plan, maintaining his serious demeanor. She can't help but wonder if he deliberately waited until this moment to tell her something. Ian begins to add something, catching her attention with a simple, "and madam." With a confident smile, he suggests they try that effort thing she mentioned. Completely caught off guard, she can only respond with a bewildered, "What?" Ian explains he wants to try the give-and-take concept she mentioned. As he leaves, she's left wondering about his sudden change in attitude. The weekend approaches quickly, marking a potential turning point in their relationship. She spends the week immersed in romance novels and evening walks, ultimately deciding that direct confrontation is the best approach. When the weekend arrives, they meet for tea. Ian sarcastically asks if she really wanted to take up his entire weekend just for this. She explains that for their first session, she thought they should start with something light, just a casual conversation. Ian looks annoyed, but she insists understanding the student's level is crucial. She privately thinks he has no idea how to communicate with people. Even Ian's most devoted fans felt sympathy for Diana when she left for the academy, highlighting his social awkwardness. When asked what he said to his childhood friend before her departure, Ian coldly responds that there's no need to tell him such trivial things. She suggests they spend time getting to know each other, explaining that they know so little about one another. Ian reluctantly agrees. Confidently, she tells Ian he'll be grateful to her in a year. When he questions her claim, she playfully suggests she has a rough idea of what to expect. Ian sighs and agrees to give their chat a try, showing a hint of reluctance. She decides to start with basic greetings, explaining that even people living together should exchange morning pleasantries. Ian looks puzzled, but tries to follow along. Frustrated by Ian's lack of enthusiasm, she believes greetings are about building a connection. She reflects on how the Duke has never greeted her like this before. Ian dismisses the exercise as useless, but then attempts a greeting. "Did you sleep well last night? The weather is nice today." She thinks to herself that he deserves exactly what she said, noting a small improvement. Disappointed but hopeful, she responds to his greeting, noting the beautiful flowers. Ian points out that she sees these flowers every day. When she asks if he feels anything, Ian bluntly responds, "I don't." She struggles to maintain her composure. Ian finally makes a small effort, observing that the flowers are, quote, "very red." She becomes exasperated, wondering if she can truly rehabilitate him within a year. The story pauses momentarily, breaking the fourth wall. A brief interlude with story credits. She doubts her ability to rehabilitate Ian within a year, questioning her ambitious goal. She asks Ian if he understands that women appreciate men who can communicate effectively. Reminding him that she's a woman too, she tries to help him understand social nuances. Ian makes a displeased face, which only frustrates her more. She explains that women appreciate men who can share moments, like admiring a sunset or enjoying tea together. She questions whether such words are truly empty. Internally, she's frustrated, thinking she'd punch him if he weren't a swordmaster. She tells herself to stay calm and endure. She introduces a new rule: no unkindness allowed. She explains that no woman dislikes sweet words and demonstrates how to be charming and considerate. Ian looks visibly flustered as the story transitions to a new chapter. He wonders if saying one sweet word could really be so difficult. The protagonist sighs in frustration, feeling the immense challenge of teaching Ian basic social skills. She considers whether commenting on rumors might at least be some progress in their communication. She tells Ian about using a blank check at a clothing store and her plans to become more active in social circles. Her true motivation is to gather allies to help Diana, which she subtly explains to Ian. She sees this as an opportunity to promote Zed's clothing store while expanding her social network. Ian seems surprised by her sudden interest in social circles, questioning why she would want to engage after marriage. She explains that she's changed her mind and believes it's important to meet more people now. Ian repeats her words, "More people, huh?" showing his contemplation. He suspects something must have triggered her sudden interest in social circles. Determined to help Diana, she realizes she needs to build a network of supportive connections. Ian smirks and asks if she's planning to find new people to meet. She confidently confirms her intention. Puzzled by Ian's sarcastic tone, she wonders what's really going on in his mind. Ian questions if she'll use her Duchess title to expand her social circle. She coolly confirms, explaining she needs the Duchy's reputation to gain access to influential groups. Ian begins to remind her of something important. Recalling their marriage vows, Ian reminds her of her promise not to bring shame to the Duchy, despite previous scandals. He warns her against doing anything that might generate unnecessary gossip or negative attention. They reach a calm agreement about maintaining the Duchy's reputation, with her promising to cooperate. She realizes Ian's warning is about being cautious with her social connections, understanding the political sensitivity of her position. As the Emperor's brother, Ian remains a potential heir and is constantly under the scrutiny of imperial political circles. Frustrated by his harsh tone, she recognizes the potential political complications her social interactions could create for Ian. She reflects that people might easily misunderstand her intentions, but deep down, she believes Ian's reputation issues are largely his own doing. Promising to be careful about her social connections, she commits to avoiding any potential harm to the Duchy, at least until their divorce. Their first afternoon tea of the weekend concludes with an uncomfortable atmosphere. Throughout the tea session, Ian appears unusually troubled and distracted. Ian maintains his sarcastic demeanor, creating tension during their interaction. Lying on her bed, she struggles to understand whether Ian is truly paying attention or simply going through the motions. At least her outfit looks good, providing a small consolation to the awkward situation. As dusk falls, she is escorted back to the mansion, feeling the weekend has been largely unproductive. A maid announces the arrival of Madame Zed, catching the protagonist by surprise. Impressed by Madame Zed's promptness, she reflects on how quickly a week has passed since her clothing store visit. Confidently, she walks to the main dressing room, eager to try on her new dress. The maid's excitement about the dress try-on overwhelms the protagonist, who finds the maid's enthusiasm amusing. In an elegant room, Madame Zed prepares to present the dress, creating an atmosphere of anticipation. Feeling a mix of curiosity and nervousness, she prepares to see the final result of her clothing investment. Madame Zed warmly greets the protagonist, addressing her formally as the Duchess. With a subtle smile, the protagonist agrees to begin the dress fitting. Eager to see the results, she confidently asks to start the fitting process. Surrounded by elegant dresses, she's ready to witness her transformation and celebrate her hard work. Madame Zed presents a meticulously tailored dress adorned with blue sapphires and emeralds, perfectly matched to the protagonist's eye color. The protagonist feels a mix of anticipation and apprehension. Delighted, the protagonist discovers the dress is exactly to her taste. Madame Zed proudly presents her masterpiece, hinting at a special surprise that adds an air of mystery. Madame Zed reveals a magical artifact to add the final enchanting touch to the dress. With magical precision, she applies the artifact, causing the dress to shimmer with an otherworldly sparkle. Amazed by the magical enhancement, the protagonist considers this the highlight of Madame Zed's masterpiece. Recalling magical tailoring techniques from romantic novels, she's thrilled to experience the magic firsthand. Madame Zed's confident eyes invite the protagonist to try on the dress. With a slightly nervous smile, Madame Zed encourages her to try on the dress, marking a new chapter in her journey. Putting on the dress, she admires her reflection. The perfect fit boosts her confidence, making her feel beautiful and ready to make a stunning impression at social events. Admiring the dress's elegance, she imagines it would be perfect for a royal ball, appreciating its sophisticated design. Madame Zed advises saving the dress for lighter gatherings, promising an even more spectacular dress for the royal ball. Her enthusiasm leaves the protagonist feeling both excited and slightly pressured. Madame Zed suggests wearing the dress to Duchess Berluz's season party. The lavish banquet table hints at the event's grandeur and significance. Duchess Berluz, known for her influential and extravagant events, makes this the perfect occasion for the new dress. Unlike previous years, Eloise rarely attended Duchess Berluz's parties. This year's event is special, marking her 20th wedding anniversary. Princess Hazel's attendance elevates the party's importance, adding political significance to the social gathering. Princess Hazel, first in line for the throne and a key supporter of the Emperor, brings major political weight to the event. Known for setting fashion trends, Princess Hazel was the first to recognize Madame Zed's designs. The protagonist feels nervous about potentially meeting her. Unlike the original Eloise, she sees the party as a strategic opportunity to connect with potential allies and expand her social network. Madame Zed promises further dress adjustments, determined to create the most impressive outfit ever worn. Though believing Madame Zed might be going overboard, she decides to support her efforts to help make her famous. She checks the calendar and realizes the party is just around the corner. With determination, she prepares to make her public debut. Worried about Ian, she unexpectedly encounters him in the mansion hallway. Wearing her new casual outfit, she tries to catch Ian's attention, but he seems indifferent, leaving her frustrated. Ian barely acknowledges her presence, maintaining his usual distant demeanor. His minimal reaction leaves her feeling disappointed and ignored. Hoping for a compliment, she asks about her outfit, but Ian only comments on its color, missing the point entirely. Frustrated, she clenches her fist, wishing for a more thoughtful response. She urges Ian to apply the social skills he's supposedly learning. Ian's continued focus on the outfit's color only increases her frustration. Exasperated, she explains exactly how he should compliment her, hoping to teach him proper social etiquette. Ian looks surprised when she asks him to accompany her to the party. She explains the significance of the Duchess Brulouse's 20th wedding anniversary event, hoping to convince him to attend. Ian repeats her request, seeking confirmation about the party invitation. She waits expectantly, hoping he'll agree to be her escort to the event. She explains that attending together is part of repairing their public image, framing it as a lesson for Ian. She emphasizes the importance of presenting a united front at social events. Ian hesitates but considers her logical approach to their social strategy. She reminds Ian of his promise to show her how to be a proper husband. Ian reluctantly agrees, with the caveat of checking his schedule first. She wonders if he's planning to schedule another business meeting instead. She smiles, knowing the event is scheduled for next Sunday. Confidently, she reminds Ian of his weekend promise and insists he'll accompany her. She warns Ian that she'll hold him accountable if he mistreats Diana, showing her fierce determination. Ian suggests replacing their weekend meeting with a party. She agrees, feeling they're making progress in their relationship. Ian asks, "What now?" and she smiles optimistically. She suggests calling a jeweler and asks Ian to take time during the week. When Ian asks why, she explains her plan to get matching brooches for the party. Ian looks confused but goes along with her playful plan. She explains she wants to show off while being accompanied by Ian. The narration reveals they've never worn couple items before, with Ian previously finding such gestures meaningless. She reflects on Ian's continued cold attitude, even after Diana's return, recalling how Ian never wore the brooch Diana originally gave him, which frustrated her fans. Her frustration builds at his past indifference. Diana's devoted fans even created their own brooches in response to Ian's previous rejection. Confidently, she announces she's bought 10 brooches and insists on her plan. Ian agrees to contact the jeweler about her request. As she prepares to leave the room, Ian unexpectedly offers a comment about her outfit. His rare moment of sincerity catches her off guard. He tells her the dress suits her well, a genuine compliment. Shocked by Ian's unexpected compliment, she struggles to process his words. She explains the, quote, proper way to give a compliment, hoping to guide to social skills. Ian insists he gave her the answer she wanted, in his own mechanical way. She follows him, bewildered by his awkward attempt at kindness. Unsure whether to take his comment as a compliment or an insult, she ponders his strange communication. The story moves to Thursday, with rain falling outside the mansion. She prepares herself, determined to face whatever challenges await. Ian greets her with an unusual attempt at casual conversation, asking about her sleep and the weather. Surprised by his mechanical attempt at small talk, she sees it as a sign of progress in his social skills. She updates Ian about the jeweler waiting downstairs, and they head down together to meet him. Ian looks back, puzzled by their sudden meeting with the jeweler. Eager to show unity, she playfully asks Ian to hold her hand as they walk to meet the jeweler. Ian looks uncomfortable, but reluctantly agrees to her request. The jeweler greets them with utmost respect, honored to be in their presence. An impressive array of jewelry accessories is laid out for their selection. When asked about the accessories, Ian bluntly says no, much to the protagonist's amusement. Ian stands stoically, arms crossed, showing his typical disinterest. A brief pause marks the story's intermission, with credits rolling. Ian's blunt response frustrates the protagonist, who wishes for more dramatic interactions. Her frustration builds, imagining a more exciting response to his one-word answers. Collecting herself, she focuses on selecting a necklace for their upcoming event. Ian critiques the necklace, pointing out its outdated trend with his usual bluntness. Determined to find something, she suggests a bracelet, internally urging herself to remain calm. She realizes this meeting is more about showcasing their relationship to the noble community. The jeweler nervously stands ready to spread word of their harmonious partnership. They discuss various options, with the jeweler acting as their social messenger. With determination, she selects a brooch and seeks Ian's opinion. Ian looks nervous as she confidently holds onto his arm, showing her commitment to their public image. She's determined to make Ian appear desirable, despite his social awkwardness. Her goal is to protect Diana's dignity while ensuring a potential future romance. She's committed to preventing Ian from mistreating his wife or becoming involved in a scandalous romance. Her determination to change Ian's reputation burns brightly. She presents a pair of brooches, hoping Ian will show some enthusiasm. Ian agrees, suggesting the brooches will match his red dress and her eyes. Despite his lack of excitement, she accepts his choice. Ian offers a rare compliment, saying the brooch suits her well. The jeweler praises their choice, noting the brooch symbolizes their shared connection. She remains skeptical, but accepts the jeweler's enthusiastic description. Ian asks her to pin the brooch on him and requests a kind comment while doing so. She agrees, remembering their earlier conversation about expressing kindness. She suspects Ian expects her to overlook his lack of genuine emotion. She carefully pins the brooch on his shirt, asking how it looks. Pleased with the result, she waits for his reaction. Surprisingly, Ian tells her she's beautiful, catching her completely off guard. He adds that she's more beautiful than the brooch, making her feel both flustered and pleased. Ian blushes, clearly embarrassed by his own compliment. She dismisses his compliment as merely stating an obvious fact about her beauty. Ian looks down, visibly embarrassed by her response. The jeweler offers to pack the brooch for them. He suggests a fragrance enchantment service for an additional fee, intriguing the couple. The protagonist listens intently as the jeweler explains the romantic significance of the fragrance enchantment. The matching brooches glow with a magical purple aura, promising a special shared scent. Ian agrees to add the fragrance enchantment to their brooches. The protagonist is delighted with their final choice. After the jeweler leaves, they sit together in the sunlit garden. Ian asks about her thoughts on the brooches while they enjoy tea. They share a rare moment of mutual understanding. She admits she's more satisfied with her plan's progress than the brooch itself. Ian dismisses the idea of matching accessories, claiming he doesn't understand their significance. Ian reveals he's completely unfamiliar with the trend of matching accessories, showing his typical detached attitude. Curious about his lack of sentiment, she probes why he doesn't wear his wedding ring. Ian bluntly states they never agreed to wear wedding rings, maintaining his pragmatic approach to their relationship. She explains that emotions aren't always visible to others, so people use accessories, like rings, to express their feelings and connections. Ian listens silently, processing her unexpected insight. Deep in thought, she reflects on the importance of symbolic gestures. A brief intermission introduces the story's credits, showcasing promotional images for other manga titles. Ian questions her suggestion, seeking to understand her motivation for discussing symbolic connections. She clarifies that their relationship isn't about love, but about making a public statement. Ian acknowledges her explanation, showing a rare moment of understanding. She offers wisdom about recognizing true feelings if he ever finds someone special. Ian reflects on their conversation in his office, pondering her unexpected advice. She sits in the garden, her words echoing in his mind about finding genuine connection. Ian acknowledges her growing assertiveness, surprised by her transformation. Ian contemplates when she became so bold and challenging. He carefully puts away the brooch, wrestling with his confused emotions. Memories of their recent interactions replay in his mind. Ian dismisses love as nonsense, but finds himself daydreaming, caught off guard by Kyle. Kyle interrupts his thoughts, pointing out Ian's unusual behavior. Kyle is surprised by Ian's uncharacteristic distraction. Kyle teases Ian about examining jewelry instead of his usual documents. Ian tells Kyle to stop being cheeky, maintaining his stern demeanor. Kyle suspects Ian might be thinking about the Grand Duchess. Kyle playfully suggests Ian is trying to win back the Grand Duchess's heart with jewelry. Ian responds with a punch, frustrated by Kyle's teasing remarks. Kyle probes further, seeking confirmation about the jewelry's true purpose. Kyle continues to press Ian about the jewelry and his relationship with the Grand Duchess. Kyle apologizes for his provocative comments after Ian's strong reaction. Ian confirms the jewelry was passed on to him by the Grand Duchess. Kyle continues to tease Ian about the possibility of divorce and wearing the brooch. Ian grows increasingly annoyed with Kyle's persistent questioning. Kyle remains curious about Ian's plans for the brooch. Ian recalls the protagonist's invitation to the Berluz Duchy party. Kyle is shocked and suspects something unusual has happened between Ian and the Grand Duchess. Ian firmly shuts down Kyle's speculation about the jewelry. Kyle suggests Ian make an effort to improve his relationship. Kyle hints that small gestures might bring them closer together. Ian remains skeptical about Kyle's relationship advice. Ian remains adamant that nothing will change between them. The day of the Berluz Duchy's party finally arrives. The protagonist prepares carefully with Bibi's help, selecting her outfit and fragrance. She arrives at the party, turning heads in her stunning red dress. She graciously deflects compliments, praising Diana's beauty instead. A maid compliments her beauty, but she redirects the praise. She confidently predicts her new mistress will be the most beautiful in a year. With Bibi's help, she carefully prepares for the exciting evening ahead. Ian arrives in a breathtaking white suit, immediately capturing everyone's attention. The protagonist is momentarily stunned by Ian's striking appearance. Ian impatiently waits, questioning why she's just standing there. She stays silent, knowing he's focused on her being late. Side by side, they prepare to make their grand entrance to the party. Ian announces he's been waiting precisely 10 minutes, his precision on full display. She takes a deep breath, determined to stay calm and make a perfect first impression. Despite knowing about his habits, she can't help feeling a bit irritated. Ian questions if 10 minutes is truly a long wait in her world. She playfully suggests he should simply say, "I just arrived," revealing her understanding of social niceties. She explains the concept of a white lie, highlighting how small kindnesses matter in social interactions. They travel together in the carriage, the tension between them palpable. Frustrated, she resolves to take action before Diana's return. With quiet determination, she plans her strategy for navigating social circles. Ian asks what's troubling her, curious about her thoughts on the Berluz Duchy party. Ian explains his past attendance as a prince, noting things have changed since then. He reveals he hasn't attended social events since his marriage. She politely requests Ian's escort to the entrance, planning to explore the party independently. Ian agrees, finding it the most straightforward solution for both of them. She sighs, feeling bored, and determined to set things right before Diana's return. Ian teases her about looking sleepy, his playful side emerging. She reminds herself to take careful steps in rebuilding her social standing. Gazing out the window, she contemplates her strategy for social reemergence. Her resolve is clear: establish her position to help Diana in the future. Ian notices her deep thoughts and asks what's on her mind. She curiously inquires about the Grand Duke's past attendance at Brelu's duchy parties. Ian confirms his past appearances as a prince, but notes he hasn't attended since marriage. Ian helps her out of the carriage, drawing immediate attention. Guests whisper and stare, especially noting their matching brooches. She feels satisfied, sensing everything is unfolding according to her carefully laid plans. She gently reminds Ian to be courteous as they approach the entrance. Ian agrees, and they walk together, turning heads with their synchronized entrance. Her plan is clear. Accompany Ian briefly, then enjoy the party on her own terms. Ian questions the purpose of social gatherings, seeking understanding. She explains these events are primarily for nobles and young ladies, not business networking. Confident in her social knowledge, she smiles with a hint of playful determination. Attendants greet them with utmost respect and formality. She reflects that Diana should be receiving this treatment, blaming Ian for their current situation. Ian notices her contemplative expression and asks if something is wrong. Ian is surprised, asking who she intends to meet at the party. She reveals her target, the princess who originally caused trouble for Diana. Determined, she plans to gain the princess's support for Diana's future. She reminds Ian to be courteous and kind as they approach the greenhouse. Her focus remains sharp. Secure a powerful ally for Diana's sake. Ian questions the purpose of social gatherings, seeking clarity. She spots Isabella Howard, remembering her troublesome role in Diana's story. She explains the typical attendees of such social events to Ian. Isabella greets her with an unusually friendly demeanor. The protagonist remains suspicious, recalling Isabella's past jealousy towards Diana. She contemplates the true purpose of social gatherings and Isabella's potential motives. Isabella hints at a specific person she must meet today. The protagonist believes she has the upper hand after mentioning Diana. Determined to help Diana, she offers to support Isabella's romantic pursuits. She smiles confidently, knowing Isabella's hidden feelings for Ian. Isabella looks caught off guard by the protagonist's unexpected offer of romantic assistance. With quiet determination, she gently pushes for Isabella to open up. She probes carefully, knowing everyone suspects Ian is Isabella's secret crush. Isabella apologizes for her earlier behavior, and the protagonist graciously accepts, offering gentle guidance. Isabella tries to dodge the conversation, but the protagonist remains persistent in her offer to help. Young ladies approach her, clearly impressed by her confident demeanor. She playfully hints at her strategic social maneuvering, enjoying the attention. She reveals her long-standing desire to meet someone important, carefully choosing her words. Compliments about her dress and brooch make her slightly nervous but pleased. She enthusiastically promotes Madame Zed's atelier, seeing an opportunity for Diana's future. Smiling nervously, she promises to explain the details later, knowing it will benefit Diana. Princess Louisa approaches, clearly impressed by the protagonist's social performance. The princess shows keen interest in her unique style and clothing designer. Seizing the opportunity, she offers to introduce the princess to Madame Zed. Relief washes over her as she realizes her carefully planned strategy is working. Ian wishes her a good time, his farewell unusually warm. He turns to leave, his cloak flowing dramatically behind him. She's shocked by his unexpected behavior, wondering about his sudden change. Holding a glass of wine, she realizes it was just a stamp, not a kiss. Standing confidently, she becomes the center of attention at the garden party. Elegant women watch her, their expressions a mix of curiosity and calculation. Isabella Howard introduces herself, catching the protagonist off guard. She recalls Isabella's complicated history with Diana, carefully considering her next move. Calmly, she assures the Duchess that past conflicts have been resolved peacefully. Her skillful handling earns praise from the surrounding nobility. Grateful, she bows slightly, relieved to have gained another powerful ally. She asks the Duchess for future support, hoping to secure her assistance. The Duchess agrees with a hint of playful attitude. Another potential ally secured, she feels her plan is coming together. She requests a deeper conversation with the Duchess, who listens attentively. Excitement builds as she realizes she's successfully gaining support for Diana. The princess congratulates her on her quick thinking and encourages her to enjoy the banquet. Surrounded by positive attention, she notices a shift in the social atmosphere. More young ladies approach, eager to speak with her. She welcomes their company, pleased with the connections she's making. Reflecting on her success, she notes the positive attitudes of important social figures. Though tired, she feels satisfied with the outcome of her carefully planned social strategy. She explains the magical enhancements of her dress, impressing those around her. The young ladies are captivated, eager to learn more about her unique attire. The young ladies express their surprise and curiosity. She's asked about the Aria newsletter, a popular weekly publication in high society. Intrigued by the newsletter, she listens carefully to the details. The young woman considers subscribing, showing genuine interest. She discovers the Aria newsletter is a magical publication with real-time interactive features. Amazed by the magical technology, she becomes determined to subscribe. She asks about subscribing to the newsletter, eager to stay connected. Excited by the opportunity to stay informed, she remains focused on maintaining her social influence. Kyle updates Ian about the party, sharing details of the protagonist's social interactions. Ian feels a wave of relief hearing the protagonist mainly socialized with women. Kyle playfully teases Ian about his growing interest in the protagonist, enjoying his friend's discomfort. Ian tries to brush off the teasing but can't hide his inner turmoil. Kyle continues his relentless teasing, pushing Ian's buttons with expert precision. Frustrated, Ian demands Kyle leave, claiming a headache from the constant jokes. Kyle walks away, amused by Ian's reaction, leaving him alone with his thoughts. Ian mulls over the protagonist's complex social interactions, sensing something different about her. He realizes she's unlike anyone he's encountered before, her motives a complete mystery. As sunset approaches, Ian paces his office, growing increasingly worried about the protagonist's absence. Flashing back to her original vow, the protagonist remembers her mission to change the story's course. With renewed determination, she prepares to fight for Diana's future. She calculates her strategy, knowing she has a year to reshape Ian's behavior before Diana's return. Excitement builds as she commits to her plan of rehabilitating Ian. The protagonist finalizes her sponsorship of Madame Zed's store, securing Diana's future support. Satisfied with her strategic move, she anticipates the positive outcomes. Trying on a new dress, the protagonist is impressed by its elegant design. Madame Zed advises saving the dress for a royal ball, promising an even more stunning outfit. The room buzzes with excitement as Madame Zed addresses her team with authority. Diving deeper into the Aria newsletter, the protagonist discovers its magical real-time features. Surrounded by elegant ladies, she prepares to join the conversation with determination. Eager to stay connected, she inquires about subscribing to the magical newsletter. She navigates the social interaction with grace, offering gentle guidance and maintaining her influence. Kyle provides Ian with a detailed report about the party's events. Ian feels relieved hearing the protagonist primarily interacted with women. A moment of self-reflection reveals Ian's growing, unexpected feelings. Kyle teases Ian mercilessly about his interest in the protagonist. Kyle's laughter echoes through the room, leaving Ian bewildered and frustrated. Ian contemplates the protagonist's remarkable performance at the party. Intrigued by her unexpected actions, he tries to understand her true motivations. Her unpredictability continues to fascinate and challenge him. As sunset approaches, Ian paces his office, growing increasingly anxious about her whereabouts. Determined to understand her better, he resolves to unravel her mysteries. The protagonist continues her strategic networking, carefully building allies for Diana's future. The princess compliments her quick thinking and encourages her to enjoy the banquet. Satisfied with her progress, she feels the social atmosphere shifting in her favor. Reflecting on her successful party performance, she celebrates her strategic achievements. Tired but content, she prepares herself for upcoming challenges. She continues her conversation with the princess, maintaining her composure. Proudly showcasing her dress, she promotes Madame Zed's atelier to impress socialites. Her charm and confidence win over the other ladies, creating new social connections. Fascinated by the Aria newsletter's magical features, she listens intently to the details. Eager to join the high society conversation, she considers subscribing to the newsletter. Kyle provides another detailed report about the party to Ian. Ian feels reassured by the report of her interactions with women. A moment of self-reflection reveals his growing, unexpected emotional depth. Kyle continues to tease Ian about his growing interest in the protagonist. Ian becomes increasingly frustrated, unable to hide his confusion. Ian reflects deeply on the protagonist's unexpected and intriguing behavior at the party. Curiosity grows as he tries to understand her true motivations and inner thoughts. Restless and worried, Ian paces his office as the sunset casts long shadows, questioning his next move. With newfound resolve, Ian decides to unravel the mysteries surrounding the protagonist. Carefully weaving her social web, the protagonist continues her mission to protect Diana's future with calculated precision. Her excitement builds as she sees her strategic plans taking shape, hope burning bright in her eyes. The princess's praise washes over her, recognizing her quick wit and social finesse at the banquet. Satisfaction fills her as she realizes the social landscape is shifting in her favor. Curiosity peaks as she learns about the mysterious Aria newsletter and its magical capabilities. Determined to be part of the inner circle, she leans in, eager to subscribe and join the conversation. Kyle delivers another detailed report about the party, painting a picture of the protagonist's interactions. Relief washes over Ian, reassured by the news of her limited interactions with men. The women around him discuss the event, their voices a backdrop to his growing emotional awareness. Kyle's teasing continues, poking fun at Ian's growing interest in the protagonist. Ian's frustration grows, caught between denial and a budding curiosity he can't quite explain. Amidst the elegant party, Ian's mind races, trying to decode the protagonist's complex social maneuvers. Anxiety builds as Ian paces his office, the setting sun marking the passage of time and his growing concern. Determination hardens his resolve to understand the mysterious woman who has captured his attention. With calculated precision, the protagonist continues her careful plan to secure powerful allies. Her confidence grows as she sees the potential of her carefully crafted strategy unfolding. The princess's compliments validate her social maneuvering, boosting her confidence at the banquet. A sense of triumph fills her as she realizes her careful planning is paying off. Intrigue sparks as she learns about the unique features of the Aria newsletter. Excitement bubbles up as she sees an opportunity to dive deeper into high society's inner workings. Kyle's report provides Ian with a detailed account of the protagonist's social interactions. A moment of self-discovery reveals Ian's deeper, unexpected feelings. Kyle's playful teasing continues, pushing Ian's buttons with expert precision. Ian struggles to maintain his composure, caught between denial and growing curiosity. The protagonist moves through the party with grace, her actions both calculated and intriguing. Ian's mind races, trying to unravel the layers of her mysterious personality. Restlessness consumes Ian as he paces, the sunset marking his growing anticipation and worry. A spark of determination ignites, pushing him to understand the enigmatic woman. The protagonist meticulously plans her next move, each step carefully calculated to protect Diana's future. Hope and anticipation dance in her eyes as she envisions the challenges ahead. Whispers of admiration spread as the protagonist makes her mark at the banquet. The social atmosphere shifts, her strategic moves creating ripples of intrigue. Confidence radiates from her as she navigates the social landscape with remarkable skill. Curiosity sparks as she explores the magical potential of the Aria newsletter. Her calm exterior masks an eager mind, ready to dive into new social opportunities. Excitement bubbles beneath the surface as new possibilities unfold before her. Kyle presents a detailed report, breaking down the protagonist's social interactions. Relief and a deeper emotional understanding wash over Ian as he processes the information. His contemplative mood reveals the growing complexity of his feelings. Kyle's teasing reaches new heights, mercilessly poking at Ian's growing interest. Ian struggles between frustration and confusion, unable to fully deny his feelings. Their playful banter reveals the depth of their friendship, filled with mutual understanding. Ian finds himself captivated by the protagonist's unique and unpredictable nature. A warm smile betrays his growing fascination, despite his attempts to appear nonchalant. Mysterious possibilities swirl around her, drawing him deeper into her enigma. The princess's praise elevates the protagonist's standing among the nobles. Her strategic moves create a palpable shift in the social atmosphere, impressing everyone present. Intrigued by the magical newsletter, she listens intently to every detail. Confidence radiates as she raises her glass, eager to dive into the inner circles of high society. Her anticipation builds, sensing the potential for new connections and influence. Kyle's report brings a wave of relief, confirming the protagonist's careful social navigation. A mix of relief and growing curiosity washes over Ian as he processes the report. His emotions crystallize, revealing a deepening interest he can no longer deny. Kyle's playful teasing continues, poking at Ian's growing fascination with the protagonist. Ian squirms under Kyle's knowing gaze, caught between frustration and an undeniable curiosity. Lost in thought, Ian realizes the protagonist is unlike anyone he's ever encountered before. Her complexity intrigues him, challenging everything he thought he knew about reading people. Anxiety gnaws at Ian as he questions the purpose of his growing obsession. The setting sun marks the passing time, heightening his unease about her whereabouts. Worry transforms into something deeper, revealing emotions he struggles to understand. The conservatory becomes her strategic battlefield, where she plans her next move. Confidence gleams in her eyes as she contemplates the path to protecting Diana's future. The princess's praise elevates her standing, confirming her social prowess. Satisfaction washes over her as she sees the social landscape shifting in her favor. Intrigue sparks as she learns about the mysterious Aria newsletter's magical capabilities. Her determination grows, seeing a new avenue to expand her social influence. Excitement bubbles up as she envisions the potential of this magical communication tool. The magical newsletter reveals its secrets, a portal to real-time social insights that captivates her imagination. Curiosity drives her forward, eager to unlock the newsletter's mysterious potential. Magical scrolls dance before her, promising a new world of social connection and strategy. Her excitement peaks as she learns about the newsletter's unique subscription process. Potential allies lean in, offering insights into this magical communication network. Her strategic mind sees an opportunity to expand her social influence through this magical tool. Kyle's report provides a detailed account of the party's social dynamics. Relief washes over Ian as Kyle confirms her interactions were carefully controlled. Kyle's playful teasing reveals Ian's growing, unexpected interest in the protagonist. Ian struggles between annoyance and an undeniable curiosity about her actions. Kyle's relentless teasing pushes Ian's buttons, revealing his growing emotional complexity. Exasperated, Ian dismisses Kyle, unable to handle the mounting emotional pressure. Kyle's dramatic exit highlights the tension between friendship and Ian's inner turmoil. Ian studies the party photos, trying to unravel the protagonist's mysterious nature. She defies his usual ability to read people, becoming an intriguing puzzle he can't solve. Silence speaks volumes as Ian contemplates the enigma before him. Doubt creeps in as Ian questions the value of his growing obsession. The late hour weighs heavily, his concern growing with each passing moment. Silence fills the room as worry etches itself across his features. His deeper feelings emerge, revealing a vulnerability he struggles to understand. A flashback reveals the origin of her determined mission against Ian. Confusion gives way to renewed determination to change Diana's fate. She rises with purpose, ready to face the challenges ahead. With 1 year to go, she plots her strategic rehabilitation of Ian. Her determination burns bright, vowing to transform Ian before Diana's return. Excitement erupts as her plan takes shape. She secures Madame Zed's store sponsorship, another piece of her careful strategy for Diana's future. Madame Zed's surprise confirms the brilliance of her calculated move. Elegance personified, she admires her stunning new dress with quiet satisfaction. Madame Zed's enthusiasm pushes her towards even greater fashion possibilities. The magical newsletter beckons, promising a world of hidden social insights. Her eyes widen with curiosity, a spark of excitement dancing in her gaze as she leans into the mysterious world of magical communication. Magical scrolls shimmer with possibility, her mind racing with the potential to weave new social connections and strategies.